Hey, today we're with Jake Labatz, and he's coming to us from Winona. Though, boy, you've got a rich history, Jake, of being all over the country, including some kind of nightclub in California where Steve Buscemi saw you. You got to give us a little bit more information. You are a treasure for this year's Great River Folk Fest to be introducing to the La Crosse area.
Oh, Dave, thanks so much. I'm excited to play. And as I was telling you before, I've never played lacrosse, so this will be new territory for me. And I've been hearing about your folk festival from my father-in-law, Mark Gunderson, who's a local folk musician here in Winona.
Sure.
And Winona and this area, lacrosse, and this whole, area of Wisconsin and Minnesota around here has such a great, rich music scene. And your lineup, I looked through these people and I went out to see some of their videos and hear their music, and I'm like new to a lot of them and really blown away. So I'm really happy to be part of this music scene that's happening up here. And I live here now, and I've lived a bunch of other places, like you said. I've lived in LA and New York and New Orleans and Chicago. And LA, what was happening in LA was there was a big movie industry, of course, and I met Steve Buscemi. I crashed a movie premiere. Uh, yeah, a guy was house sitting for an actor, and he opened the guy's movie premiere tickets, and we went and got a secondhand suit at Salvation Army and went up to the place. And actually Steve Buscemi, he was there. He was in the movie, I think, or he was doing another movie with the director. It was John Carpenter movie, Escape from LA. And I think Steve had just done Con Air with Carpenter, or some other movie with John Carpenter. So we were in line for the bathroom, and I said, hey, I think we have this friend in common or something. And he said, oh yeah, yeah, and he really nice guy. He said, what do you do? I said, play music. Oh, what do you play? He said, where can I hear you play? I said, well, I'm playing at this bar in the bottom of a dive motel in the seedy part of Hollywood. And he said, oh, great, I'll be there. And he came out. So he was an unusual person. He's a huge music fan, but he was he's a big star, but not a big head. So he came out, and we got to be good friends. And over time, he put me in my first movie as an actor, and that kind of helped get things moving a bit for
Oh,
me.
so you were an actor. I won't delve into that because I want to introduce people to some of your music styles. I've my internet connection is unstable, so let's hopefully we get a good recording off of this. Um, I listened to your recent CD, which is wonderful, and that Bigfoot is just such a fun song that you go through, and it's got a Tom Waits kind of a talking kind of a spirit, approach to it, and I'm looking forward to. You're in a workshop with Chicago Farmer, so you gotta play a funny song when you're next to Chicago Farmer because Chicago Farmer is funny at times. So tell me a little bit about your style and the fact that what would you call yourself as a musician?
Yeah, I guess that's always a question that people have, particularly if they want to promote stuff, like you do. And I mean, it's generally under the umbrella of roots music. I tend to not use the word Americana too much because I think people sometimes have particular concept of that, which is a sort of a sensitive singer-songwriter, or
Yeah.
I am a sensitive singer-songwriter, but also I sing some pretty out there stuff, and some of it's rock and roll, some of it's rock, some of
Yeah.
it's soul, some of it's blues, some of it's hillbilly music and gospel music and all the great and blues, and all that stuff is in there. But I learned how to play from these old Delta blues guys who are still hanging around Chicago, that moved up to Chicago from the Delta and from Memphis area.
Well, and you do have a roots of a blues. So, this is a festival that's going to actually touch into the blues a little bit more than normal. We got Andy Mack on Saturday, and we're bringing you on Sunday. So I'm looking forward to it because folk music just is not one style. folk music is a big umbrella, and we've always done that. We've had some global music, and okay, because I want to ask you about your songwriting style. I think what we'll do now is we'll just jump into our Great River Folksinger Factoid survey. So you've already admitted you've never been to La Crosse yet.
Well, I've been there. I just haven't performed there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
I've had some very good Hmong food there. I think it was like 5-star egg roll or something like that. It's kind of Thai Hmong restaurant or something. It was really delicious.
oh, we've got La Crosse is known for their restaurants. Oh, that's my actually my retirement hobby that I'm going to do is just eat out all the time. Yeah. Uh, did you get a chance to see the giant six pack then?
No. How did I miss that?
You got to get to the giant six pack. It's on the way to Dave's guitar shop. Have you made it to Dave's yet?
No, but its legend precedes viewing it. I've heard about it from my father-in-law, and I've heard about it from other people, and I got to get over there and see what's happening.
That upstairs is just awesome. So, all right, let's move to the legend quiz. Bob Dylan or John Prine?
Bob Dylan.
Joni Mitchell or Carole King?
Carole King.
Robert Cray or B.B. King?
B.B. King.
Brandy Carlisle or Gillian Welch?
Gillian Welch.
Okay. You don't have to expand. I like all your choices. I wonder at times, and I put Robert Cray there because I just love Robert Cray, the stories he writes. I maybe don't know BB as well as I know Robert. Okay, so you have such an eclectic style, and I've only listened to really one of your CDs. You've got
Tell you one thing. Hey, Dave, just one thing. B.B. King live at Cook County Jail.
I have to go listen to it?
Yeah, check that out.
Okay.
It's pretty great.
All right. Well, I'll listen to it.
Not to mention everything he's like done for blues music and in general. He's just really did a lot. But anyway, that's all.
Can you be quiet? All right. So now jumping into your music, you've got more than one CD out there, and I've only listened to one, so I don't have a real feel of your library. But if that last CD of yours is any indication, you are very eclectic. How do you write? Is it a morning, midday, evening when the muse hits you? Are you a religious, I'm going to get up and do this each day?
I love that question. You know, it's always interesting to me to find out people's process. It gives them some insight into some deeper part of their being when you find out, I think. In my case, I think it's mostly when the muse strikes. And by the muse, I mean when total depression strikes, or when just my life becomes so, let's say, claustrophobic that there's nowhere else to go except to through the depths internally and to see what's there. So it is prompted by that, you could say.
Do you write yourself prompts, or do you take a prompt and try to write a song about a prompt of a word? You know, Bigfoot is an example. Where the hell did Bigfoot come from? I love that song.
You know, I can't remember exactly. The one thing I do remember is that I had some really kind of highfalutin idea I was going to write a musical about Bigfoot. And because there's all this Bigfoot hype happening maybe, but there's something about I came up with a riff and on my piano, and I was just like, you know, I dig the riff, and I'm like, you know, started having this idea about how this Bigfoot, who's like actually begging for someone to pay attention to him because there's the news of the world is so bad that Bigfoot can't get him. He's in the middle of the street, nobody will look at him. But he has some information for human beings, which is basically we better get in touch with our true nature or we're in deep doo-doo. So somehow that song came out. I don't know if it was out of a riff or it was my idea about this musical. I wrote a few songs actually about Bigfoot besides that one, but that was the only one that was any good.
So when you write, are you a paper writer? Are you write on a keyboard? You on the phone? What's your approach?
when I get into songwriting, it's usually it becomes a morning, noon, and night thing until I'm done with the song. You know, once it takes over, I'm just in it until it's done wrestling me. So, you know, it could be a few days, it could be a week or whatever. And I have, since I started really using a laptop, probably in the last, you know, several years, it's been mostly typing things out. But when I'm walking around, where the music really comes from is sometimes I'm out for a walk,
Sure.
something's coming up, and then I'll throw it down on my, you know, voice memo or something like that, a piece of a lyric. But usually it's the melody stuff, and the lyrics start to work their way out after a while.
Hang on a second. I've got to yell at my wife.
Again,
Zoom meeting. I put a note on the door so I knew she would go to the opposite door and not see it. So should have put it on both doors. Cool. Well, you do everything with it. So you have like books that you still have binders of your previous, you know, how long back do you go, or do you
I haven't kept anything. I mean, you know, when I
really?
was when I grew up in Chicago, you know, probably similar to Minnesota, there'd be these floods that would just wipe out basements,
Yeah,
you know, apartment building
sure.
basements run by slumlords, and everything would be completely destroyed. So I probably
I should
lost.
be laughing.
Well, it is kind of funny, but probably that happened to me at least two or three times as a young man, where everything I'd owned up to that point was wiped out.
Yeah,
And then I was a heroin addict for a number of years, and you know, that's, you can't hold on to anything that way. Everything goes into your arm.
yeah.
So, not to mention just, you know, being kind of a vagrant and sort of moving from place to place, and an itinerant musician, which it's sort of hard to hold on to things when you're moving from one town to another town. I've been clean for a long, long time, you know, for over 20 years now, but I still have managed not to acquire too many things. I think the earlier part of my life set me up to be not a total ascetic, but a person who just doesn't collect much. So unfortunately, I don't have much from the old days.
Hmm. We got the you got the music in MP3s or a CD stashed away someplace, right?
Maybe.
All right. Oh, you know, sometimes you want to go back in time and listen to the. Maybe you don't want to go back and listen to yourself. Maybe what am I thinking? I don't want to go back and listen to myself. So you have a. This is a tough question for a lot of people. I'm asking you to find a lyric or a song that you really would want to frame and put on your wall. And because you're not a person who likes to collect things, what would you pick? What is the one that's just stuck with you that you'd want to just hang up and admire?
Oh, you know, I really like the album cover we had for the last album, which we have the title track of is written on a giant birthday cake that we had made at a Mexican bakery. And I just love that birthday cake, you know. And the song is called "They're Coming for Me." And it's a
Yeah,
three-layer cake, so it says "They're coming for me," as if it's a birthday cake, but it's kind of a scary birthday cake with the candles that are blown out and the smoke going everywhere. So I think I would hang that, just that
sure.
cake image. I love that.
Well, and that's part of your lyric, so I love it. A nice black frame to go along with it. Then, um,
Sure. Yeah, maybe with some gold glitter trim.
perfect. And you'd hang it right smack when people walk in, or you would hang it. Uh,
In the bathroom where they can see it from the toilet.
Perfect. I love it. So, in your lifetime, who would you like to think as your best writing coach?
Hmm. I don't know that I've ever had a writing coach per se, but I'll tell you one guy that I hung around with a lot was an old blues man named David Honeyboy Edwards. And he wrote an autobiography, or, you know, an as told to, it's in his voice though, totally in his voice,
Really?
autobiography, and it's called The World Don't Owe Me Nothing.
Hmm.
And he was a great storyteller, and that book is a really cool one. So I think he had a lot of influence, probably on me. Because the one thing I loved about him was he would tell a story, uh, not really in the first person. He would kind of do it as if he was, like the omniscient narrator or something. Like he was there, but he was telling it from the point of view of all these other people. And so he didn't have this big like ego significance for himself that he needed to present in his storytelling, which was kind of amazing and unusual.
Well, you've given me two assignments now, Jake. So I'll have to see what I can get to. Off season. That's an off season kind of thing. All right, last question. 7 words you would tell your 10-year-old self.
7 words: trust yourself, lay off the dope.
Good advice. Good advice. So, like I was saying earlier, I'm excited to get you down at the Great River. We are more than just lacrosse. Sunday tends to be a little bit more regional than Saturday, but we do get a good pull from the whole region in the state of Wisconsin. And love to get your music some on Simply Folk as well on Wisconsin Public Radio. So we'll keep marketing it. We'll keep in touch. We just love to have you in the area, Jake. If that last CD is anything similar to what your other ones are, I'm going to be buying some more. I know that.
I really appreciate that, Dave. And I do think you will enjoy, especially the one just before it.
Really?
That's called Sunnyside. That's one
Okay.
that you'll really like.
Part of it is just getting to the music, and you're right. You're going to meet a good cross section of lacrosse, and in the region when you come on Sunday. Chicago Farmer will be in one of the workshops with you. I'm going to make a dang effort to sit down in a chair for 45 minutes to listen to you. Usually I'm pulled left and right as a fest chair, but I try my best to sit down and listen to some music during that day. Do you have any other questions for us while you're getting around to the Folk Fest in the region, or because I've been around for a while, so I kind of can tell you the area. It's kind of changed a little during the pandemic, but it's going to be back. It's I can sense it already.
Yeah, well, it seems like, by meeting people like you who are really music lovers, so deeply, which I found that in Chicago too. It's a human thing, but partly in the Midwest, people just, they really love music. They really listen to the lyrics. They love to go out and support live music, live entertainment. And through meeting people like you who are involved in this music scene, I feel like it's a lot of it's going to be this way of just meeting people and meeting the people that there and shaking hands and saying hello. And
Well, I'm hoping that the Popcorn Tavern and the Root Note come back, because you would be perfect for both those venues. And I've heard good rumors that they're coming back to the area as strong as ever. Might take them a couple months or so, but they're working at it. So they I think survived the pandemic, and they'll be back and strong as ever in lacrosse. But you've been touring around right before our festival. You're going to be up in the Minnesota State Fair, I guess.
yeah, do a little thing up there. Playing a lot around the area since we moved up here in November. Well, actually, I didn't start playing up here till April because of COVID, but last couple of months, starting to play around. And I'm a resident now, so
Cool.
looking
Now,
forward to doing more of that.
we're only going to probably get you, but you're traveling around with a 3-piece band, 2-piece band, or are you on your own?
I do most of my touring solo lately. I'll be doing like a September US tour solo, but sometimes I tour as a duo with drums. Sometimes I do a trio with upright bass and drums. And then, yeah, probably when my new record comes out, which I have a new one in the can,
Yep.
probably do that as a 4-piece band. In fact, I'm just talking with a booking agent named Craig Grossman, who I'm going to start working with now at Fleming Artists. So hopefully we'll get that up and running in the coming year and have a full band, which I'm playing with some great guys up in the cities. Noah Levy, who's a drummer and who's played with a lot of well-known bands up there, and Tommy V, who's the son of Bobby V, is a great bass player,
Great.
and probably add some keys soon too. So
Oh, wonderful. Well, I wish you the best of luck, and I'm looking forward to it, Jake. It's been fun. Thank you very much for taking your time to talk to us and have a Great River Folksinger Factoid. You know, when we dreamt this up for the songwriter contest, it was just kind of fun to go through the questions and kind of, you know, even their headliners are. I got a few of them booked, so this is going to be kind of a good journey to be on. So I'm looking forward to posting it and sharing it with the world. Thanks you
hey,
very
thanks a
much.
lot. Thanks for the opportunity, and looking forward to meeting you in person and playing there.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have a great time. All right, goodbye.